Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 1984 Christmas slasher movie Silent Night, Deadly Night, and this is directed by Charles E. Sellier and stars Robert Brian Wilson. This tells the story of a young boy who is traumatized by the death of his parents, committed by a guy dressed as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. Years later, the past still haunts him and he is finally tipped over the edge. Now, this is a film that caused quite a bit of controversy back in the day. People were campaigning outside the cinema and stuff because they didn't like the fact that someone who children look up to and who brings them presents at Christmas time was actually going to be turned into a killer in a movie. Now, I don't think many of them people would have watched this film because it isn't actually Santa Claus himself who is the killer in this movie. It's just a guy dressed as Santa Claus. And I just think it's weird that we still see this today, almost 40 years later. I seen a news report saying that Thanksgiving and It's a Wonderful Night that had just come out here in 2023 are films that shouldn't be made because they're glorifying killings around the holiday season, which is meant to be a joyful time. But I think this was made people back in the day with Silent Night, Deadly Night, horror fans especially, want to watch it even more. Now, Christmas and horror are just two opposites that connect for me. I do love a good seasonal scare, and this was actually the second time I'd seen Silent Night, Deadly Night. The first time I watched it, I thought it was fine. It had a lot of problems, but I thought maybe on rewatch, like a lot of movies that I revisit, my mind may change a bit and it may get better. But did it get worse? Let's find out. Now, what I think Silent Night, Deadly Night does best is deal with the subject of trauma. Now, the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie are quite horrifying and creepy, but we'd see this family going to visit another family member. It's Billy, the main protagonist of the movie, is this young kid who is like 10 years old, and he's going to visit his grandpa on Christmas Eve at this mental hospital because he's kind of lost his mind. And when he gets there, the grandpa is a mute. He's not speaking to anyone. So the family go into another room to talk to this doctor, and Billy is left alone with him. And it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. The grandfather starts to talk to him while all the parents are gone. And I just think this is wonderful acting by Will Hare in a movie that isn't quite full of the best acting talent. This guy really stood out, but he proceeds to tell Billy how horrifying Christmas Eve is and how it's the scariest night of the year because Santa Claus is going to come and punish you if you've been naughty. And Billy admits that he's been naughty a few times throughout the year, and the grandpa says, "You better run for your life, kid, if you see Santa Claus, because he's gonna punish you." And I just think it was just such a well done opening scene. Will Hare, man, he just really brought it to this role for the few seconds that he was in it. He sticks in my mind, and I just think it's a wonderful scene and one that really sets the tempo.
You see Santa Claus tonight? You better run, boy. You better run for your life.
And on their way home, Billy's parents are in fact attacked and killed by a terrifying Santa Claus, played by Charles Deercop, who again is another one of the standout performers in this movie for the small screen time that he gets. This guy is brutal. He's trying to rape the mother and everything. He's already killed the father. He's coming after Billy with a knife. I mean, he's just a really nasty piece of work. But I do think, again, it's setting the tempo, it's setting the tone that Christmas is going to be a horrifying time for the main character in this movie, even though it's a joyful time for many others. I like the switch up there. And I just think that, you know, it's a good opening scene because it plays well later on. And you can see why Billy doesn't look forward to Christmas. It's a traumatic event for this young kid, and it'd be a traumatic event for anyone, never mind just being 10 years of age.
Hey, you little bastard!
And the movie continues to build up the character of Billy with that trauma. He isn't helped by the orphanage when he goes there, by the nuns who run the orphanage, because they're trying to force Christmas upon him every time it comes around. And you can see the personality changes in Billy himself. He's not the same kid when December time comes. And when he finally gets the job at the toy store, the Santa Claus doesn't turn up to see the kid, so Billy is kind of made to dress up as Santa Claus and take that role, and it finally tips him over the edge. It's a really cool transition of a young innocent boy turned into a fully fledged maniac. Now, I didn't really take too much notice of all this first time around. I just kind of just wanted to go into the movie and see Santa slay some people. Excuse the pun there. But as I'm getting older now, I'm kind of realising that I do actually like more story-driven movies, even if it is cheesy B-movie, horrors, or whatever. If there's an attempt to do something there, I appreciate it a lot more. And I do think there was something here with the writing. I mean, there's definitely a character arc going on, and something trying to connect all that to make it out why Billy is gone this way. It's not just an excuse for a crazed guy who wants to dress up as Santa to go out killing people. There's a reason for it, and there's a journey as to why he got there. I know this is a weird example, but just think of the movie Joker, where he's just pushed to the edge and is forced to, and turns himself into the Joker by the end and goes crazy. It's kind of like that, but with Billy as Santa Claus, I suppose. That's the best example I can think of. I just thought it was a nice twist, and most kids look forward to Christmas. The kids in the orphanage can't wait for Christmas, but we've got this one kid who can't stand it, he hates it, and it's just basically a phobia to him, so it's a nice little switch up. And the whole second act basically takes place in a toy store where Billy's transition comes together, and this is where his rampage kind of starts. He starts taking out a few co-workers here in the toy store, but what I really liked and appreciated was some of the directional choices here. There are shocked faces on toys and the nutcrackers when he's starting to slay people, and the camera sort of zooms right into them. I thought that was a pretty cool directional choice to go with. And just quickly, as a little bit of a side note, I gotta say, there is a great montage section here when Billy starts his job at the toy store, because Mr. Sims has just got the perfect worker. Billy is quite well built and stuff, and he can just lift the boxes all in the storeroom at the back and stuff, no problem. And it's just got a really fun song attached to it, with Mr. Sims looking in and just smiling at him as he sees him do his work. He's over the moon with him. Sylvester Stallone would have been proud of this montage scene. And by the way, I did not know that a Mr. Potato Head was actually a thing before Toy Story. I don't know if it's an American thing or anything, but mind blown. There was a Super Mr. Potato Head on the shelf right there. However, I just want to talk about the kills here, because this is mainly a Christmas slasher movie, and that's what a lot of people are going to come to this film for. And I gotta say, I've got mixed feelings on them. Some of them look very dull and tame and not really well put together, but some of them were quite well done. It was a weird little mixture there. Some of the standout ones for me were Christmas themed killings, which I thought was nice to put in there. Some guy is strangled by Christmas lights. We got a woman impaled on a moose head. One of my favorites was when this guy was slaying down a hill and his head is just decapitated with an axe there as he's coming down full force. But I think the most standout scene was really the start, what I was talking about before, where Billy's parents are murdered. I mean, that is quite brutal, so prepare yourself. Now, as you can imagine, most of the kills in this movie do occur in the third act, and I do feel like this is where most of Silent Night, Deadly Night's problems lie. Of course, it can be fun to see Billy go around killing people, and that's what we came to the movie for, but my problem is the people that he's going after, you just don't care about. They aren't characters from the start of the movie, really, or anything. Most of them are just random, and they are doing naughty things, as Billy likes to call it, but it still feels random. These characters are introduced to us on the 60-minute mark, for example. Two characters hear a noise outside, and they go and investigate it, and it's slowly built up tension to see what's outside waiting for them, and you just don't care. You know, it's very hard to get on board with, well-built tension and stuff when you've only just met this character 2 seconds ago. So I do think that could have had better story directions in the third act regarding the kills. I mean, there was only really one person that I thought didn't really deserve it, and I felt bad for it, and that was one of his work colleagues. But Billy is just going round like a zombie here as well. His total personality has gone, and he's just become this zombie. He's walking around saying, "Punish! Naughty!" It just feels very cheesy and silly.
Naughty.
I did appreciate, though, him going back to Mother Superior, who was the head nun of the orphanage, who did not help him out whatsoever, to get a little bit of revenge on her. At least that had merit and picked it up a little bit at the end with a reason to go for that kill. That one made sense. Now, this is just a personal issue for me, but I really wish we got more context as to what happened with the Highway Santa at the start of the movie. Did they catch him? Did he get away? It's never explained in this movie, and I think if it said to the viewer that he is still out there on the run, it would have given even more reason for Billy to be afraid of Christmas every single year, and it would have made it that a little bit more edgy for him. But we don't, and that is more of a personal thing for me. I just would have liked to find that out, but he's never really mentioned again after that opening scene. Now, 6 minutes of footage was actually cut from this movie to make it from 85 minutes to 79, so they could get a better rating at the cinemas and stuff. But I actually watched the extended version on this Blu-ray behind me. However, there is a massive dip in quality in some scenes, especially the ones in the toy store. There's quite a few there that you just look like VHS quality. You can really tell the downgrade. And I guess with any version you watch of that extended version, that is going to happen no matter which Blu-ray release company releases it or whatever. And I read that it was down to the footage being damaged. So that is unfortunate. However, guys, despite some flaws, I had a much better time with Silent Night, Deadly Night a second time around. Not a masterpiece by any means, but a better experience. Now, writer Michael Hickey said that he went to watch this movie at the cinema, and afterwards he had overheard two gentlemen in the toilet talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, and one of them said, "How was the movie?" And the other one said, "Oh, it's a lot of fun." And he was listening in to hear the little review of the movie that he'd written, and he said he was over the moon with that comment because that's what he aimed to do. That was his goal all along. And I gotta agree, this is a lot of fun, and it does a little bit more than your average slasher with its main character focus. Okay, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Silent Night, Deadly Night a 6.5 out of 10. If you're looking for a good Christmas horror to put on your Christmas list, look no further than this. It should fit nicely. Okay, guys, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Silent Night, Deadly Night is that Michael Spence, the editor of this film, actually handled some directional duties when it came to the kill scenes because director Charles E. Sellier could not handle some of the gore. I think that's crazy. If you can't handle the gore, don't direct a slasher movie. But again, he did do a good job of the movie overall, I suppose. Okay, guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. There may be a review series coming of Silent Night, Deadly Night, but I do absolutely plan to do the second movie, so look out for that at least. And if horror is your sort of thing, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. What are some horror recommendations that you would like to give me? Leave down below. And what are your thoughts on Silent Night, Deadly Night? Let's leave it all in the comments and we'll get a bit of discussion going. Thanks so much, everyone. You all take care, and I'll see you on the next video.